So I'm coming to you with this quick video tonight, y'all, just because I'm a truck driver, so I love to listen to content while I'm driving, whether it's sports content, barber content, political content, religious content, just stuff to kind of just keep my mind going when I'm driving. And I'm a fan of Corey Minor, who runs the Smart Christian channel. And I watched the video the other day where he had a panel of, let me get the name, Virgil Walker, Rick Caldwell, and Chad O. Jackson on the panel. And they were just talking about certain issues in terms of being conservative and kind of, not being so well received by other black people who are probably left leaning, and just some of the things they deal with and just some of the division that's in the church because of some of these issues. And like, it was a good conversation. And I agree with a lot of what the guys, said. I feel like Corey did a good job of hosting, that panel. I thought he talked a little too much and needed to give the shine to the guests a little bit, but he still did his thing. I'm a big fan of Corey. But one guy who I had the biggest problem with, and I like Virgil Walker, but I have my issues with Virgil Walker. One being that he is a contributor to Jason Whitlock's Fearless show. And I don't like Jason Whitlock, I'm gonna just be honest, but I like the content, I like the show because it's long. And I feel like Jason Whitlock says a lot of crazy things on his sports show that I feel like Virgil needs to call out on the Fearless show. But the one thing I didn't like that Virgil said when he was on the panel with Corey is, so they were talking about Joe Webbin, who's a very conservative, far-right pastor, and he has some crazy takes that he said about black people in America. And one of the pushbacks and flack that Virgil receives is that he isn't willing to call certain stuff racist. And Corey played a certain clip that Joe Webbin said, and it was another pastor, I forgot his name, but I feel like what that pastor said was even worse than what Joe Webbin said. And Virgil was just explaining why he won't call certain stuff racist, and he was saying like, well, what effect does it have on me? The comment is so insignificant, like it doesn't even do anything to me. And I think that is 1,000% wrong. If you're gonna stand for truth, whether it be this or that, you have to speak up and speak out, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable. You can't be willing to call out stuff that goes on in the black community amongst our people, which is true and should be done. But then when you hear a white person say something that clearly is racist, that you just refuse to call it out because you say, oh, well, it's insignificant. What effect does it have? I mean, like, no. If you're a man that represents God and represents the gospel and represents truth, you should be just as comfortable as calling out one thing that one person says and another thing another person says, period. And to say that, in my opinion, is just so cowardly. I don't know his ties. I don't know the people who he deals with. I don't know in terms of like how he makes his money, if he's associated with certain people that, help finance his situation that are like that. I don't know. But just to say because something is so insignificant and it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to say anything, that in its fundamental root is just wrong. And for a man to have the impact that Virgil does with the G3 conference and just being a man just outspoken for Christ, like, you would expect more. And I would expect somebody to have more boldness about them than that. And just in general, just as people, we can't have that mindset. Well, that problem doesn't affect me, so I'm not gonna worry about it. That's just take the SNAP benefits. Like, what if people who didn't need that just didn't care about that? What if in the civil rights movement, certain white people who saw racism and said, well, that don't affect me, so I don't care. No, it takes the masses to speak up and speak out to eliminate certain problems in this country. And to have that mindset as a person of Virgil's ilk, it was just a little disheartening, and just I was a little disappointed in him. But hopefully, man, he can watch that stuff back and just, understand that, yeah, that might not have been the best approach, and he can reevaluate himself and how he goes about dealing with certain issues and calling out certain things. Because at the end of the day, man, we all need to be called out, whether you white, black, Asian, whatever. We all not perfect, and we all need to be held accountable. But that was it, man. Just something quick, man. I'm about to get back upstairs because my daughter going crazy. But yeah, y'all check out the content, man. Just had a good interview with Nate Zastro, Manitowoc Lincoln legend, and just some of the other videos I got on the channel, man. But it's Cut Talk. We love y'all. I'm out.